I'm Jen, and this documentary is intended to show our viewers the state of diversity at Regis University.
And we will also show the attempts made by the staff at Regis in order to make more inclusive roles at school. According to Regis's official website, Regis boasts a different student body with more than 20% people of color currently attending. If you click on the link directly below it, you are taken to an extensive report about demographics at Regis, dating back to the Regis school year of 2015 to 2016. And as you can see, we are still a predominantly white school, with white making up 58.77% of the reported student population.
And if Regis prides itself on diversity, why does the data say otherwise? So we must ask ourselves, what is diversity really like at Regis?
Regis prides itself on being diverse and being also inclusive to the members of the community.
We took it upon ourselves to interview staff members as well as students to see their opinion on the attempts Regis is making at making the campus more diverse.
And here's what they had to say.
I think that there are a lot of things that can be done. I personally am focused on like the POC experience at Regis, so I care a lot about like the way that people of color navigate this campus. I think that we could make this a more inclusive space by inviting more speakers of color to come and talk about issues that face students, have events that directly address what it means to be a person of color at a predominantly white institution. Just creating spaces where students of color can feel free to be themselves, like having events that aren't just focused on like random ass themes and having things that are focused on actual inclusivity. I think that Ruska did a pretty good job with Ranger Week this year and like incorporating the UR into it, but I think if we did more things like that, that would be dope.
Regis College and Regis University, but I'll focus on Regis College.
Yeah.
I think inclusivity has been a struggle for us in many ways. We're a predominantly white institution, like PWI, and as a PWI, I think that the assumption is that being both Jesuit and PWI means that we would have such a focus on inclusion, and we would have such a focus on it due to our focus on social justice. It just makes sense. I'm a communication professor. I think that probably the thing that we're lacking most is a strong infrastructure for communication here at this institution. We do not have really good and clear channels of information that go back and forth between faculty and student governance, our faculty and students in terms of affinity groups, and in general. We don't have a large forum that goes back and forth so that even faculty understand where students are coming from and vice versa.
I don't think they've done anything to improve diversity. They, I think, try to present themselves as being diverse, but if you look at people, it's explicitly heteronormative and very white.
I think the challenge for us is to bring more staff, faculty and administration of color to our campus, right? More diverse group of folks so that we have more, so that the students that we are bringing see themselves in the faculty, staff, and administration.
Yeah. Wow.
So many white people are blind to the systemic and really subtle functions of racism. And really, really well-intended, kind-hearted, justice-focused people. I mean, I'm still learning. I still make mistakes and make assumptions, and everybody does. And so it's finding a way to present this material and start these conversations in ways that don't bring about a sense of insult or defensiveness.
One critique to our system is that we are pretty slow in hiring faculty of color, right? Because unless students see themselves represented in those who are teaching them, I think we have a gap to fill in, right? And it's going to be very hard to continue to foster a sense of belonging and a different atmosphere on campus.
I think diversity has been implemented on campus throughout several different programs that we have. So we have We have BSA, QSA, we have SOMOS, a lot of different clubs that incorporate different people, different diversity that we have here on campus to help them form a community.
Work harder to make LGBTQ events.
Yeah.
Like with the drag show and stuff, not to have it be so hard, because Clyde told me about how hard it is to get the drag show on campus and stuff. So, and he put me in charge of it for next year because he's graduating, and so like he gave me the rundown, and just to make it easier for LGBTQ events to be present within the campus, I think that would be good.
Working on that, and then there's another group of faculty that I'm involved with that are currently formulating, we just had this passed last week, diversity training as part of the fall faculty conference this coming fall. So we're going to be offering a half-day, we're currently figuring out what that's going to look like, but a half-day training for faculty.
The way I interact, I try to really respond to that need of feeling a sense of belonging in this campus, that they have a place, that they have a voice, that they belong here and that we need them. So, but I'm just one faculty, right? But from my colleagues, I do believe that we're all doing intentional work to create the relationships that we know are gonna help some of our students of color stay and feel that, yeah, this Regis is also our university. One sense of belonging and a different atmosphere on campus. If that fails to change, I do believe that we're moving in that direction, but it's slower than what some of us would like it to be happening, right? The rate of change is slower. Yeah.
What we need faculty to recognize is that our students are hurting because they feel as if they are criminalized by the very people that are supposed to be supporting them, right? And that not only are they criminalized, which is terrible, they're also not being listened and only being perceived as aggressive and assertive. What I need faculty to recognize is that our students are hurting because they feel as if they are criminalized by the very people that are supposed to be supporting them, right? And that not only are they criminalized, which is terrible, they're also not being listened and only being perceived as aggressive and assertive, right? And that's not the case, at least not the case that I know of, right? At a certain point, as faculty and staff, I think that it's our role not to argue back, but to just listen, right? And to actually hear what the needs of our students are and the ways in which they feel as if those needs are never recognized. It costs us nothing to actually support students in those kinds of actions, of wanting to commemorate people who have been killed at the hands of police and due to police brutality and have not had to, and have been acquitted each and every time.
Historically, white systems and structures is maintaining a single worldview. And so when I go about teaching in traditionally Western ways, I'm normalizing white ways of knowing, white ways of being, white ways of communicating, all of that. So I'm trying to educate myself on how to kind of undo some of those bigger systemic pieces in the classroom. So.
Important issue is going to take time, right? And also relationship and awareness of how we do this together, not just one particular group in the university. Right? Yeah, on my spare time, trying to think of how we bridge over and join forces with other departments or other faculties or other entities in the university. I think we all are behind, right?
Recent exciting wins is that we wrote a proposal for a fall faculty conference, and what it will be is a large-scale anti-bias and liberation training.
Nice.
And it's all going to be based on pedagogy, how to bring this into our classrooms. And so we're really excited about that.
Yeah.
And so we're pushing.
That's
Yeah. We're also creating a diversity council specifically for Regis College, which I think is going to be really important. And that diversity council will be in part run by the the larger Office of Diversity by Nikki Gonzalez. So, we're working on it. We're making some strides. The thing is, we can't become, what's the word I'm looking for? Complacent, right? Because no matter how far we get, there's always going to be changes that need to be made, right?
Yeah. I'm really fortunate to have the role that I have, right? And I love the work that I do because it really puts me in contact with a lot of students. And students that are passionate about who they are, what they want to do, passionate about impacting other students, and then passionate about leading us as an institution in some good ways, right? Because I think that we're at our best when we collaborate with students, whether we're faculty, staff, administration. Our students place where every student can find place here, right? It's about finding place, and that means bringing your authentic self in all of your different identities to Regis and being able to say, I feel safe here, but not just safe. I feel valued here. I feel like I can pursue my education here. I can pursue my education here with all that I am and bring all of that to our community, right? And that we're stronger and better for it.
So before making this documentary, we made a proposal stating that we make a diversity documentary about Regis, and we wanted to focus it more on being the positive side of the coin. But after concluding this documentary and conducting interviews with student and staff members, we come to find out that it's still overwhelmingly negative, and I think it's the lack of Regis's active role in trying to include more people in their community that makes it so overwhelmingly negative.
Yeah, and we also found out that both students and staff think that there is change, however, it's coming really slow. And I think we can all agree that we wish it was going at a much faster rate, and that they're listening to not only staff, but also students. Agree that we wish Regis was making a much faster change than it actually is, because there is definitely change happening. However, we know it's a possibility to make it faster, and both students and staff can agree that we wish we were more included in this change and our opinions were listened to and taken into consideration, because as students, we are the ones living the daily life on campus. So we see things we would like to change or implement in order to make the campus more attractive to diverse students in that sense.
Not only that, as students, but we're also minority students, and so we do see the lack of diversity on campus. And I personally think that the reason why
Jess and I decided to choose this topic because obviously we are both diverse students, and the problem with diversity on Regis campus is very obvious to us. So we were really interested in approaching students and faculty members to see what their real honest thoughts were on this subject. Personally, when I came here, I had a culture shock because I previously attended all public schools, and it was extremely diverse, and coming here being the only person of color in the classroom with 25 other students was definitely overwhelming for me at first, and a little intimidating as well, because interaction is kind of
different.
It's very different, definitely, and people are very cautious about what they say. So it was definitely really different, and this topic of diversity has always been in the back of my mind, gosh, I wish Regis would do this differently, or would do this to help diversify campus at a faster rate. So yeah, that was definitely why I was interested in this topic.
Yeah. When I first came here, which was feels so long ago, I definitely also had a culture shock because I went to a public school, and I was also from a place that was very diverse, and there were not many white people. And so coming here, being a predominantly white Jesuit school, it was really hard for me to adapt to the classroom and to life here. It wasn't a matter of like whether or not I could make friends. It was just a matter of like people who could understand me, and without like and not judge me at the same time. But I definitely think that the faculty members we've included in this documentary and students who have also been in this documentary have taken upon themselves to make it safer for people like us who do have culture shock and who do come to campus and be like, I feel so lost, I don't know what I'm going to do. And so we really appreciate faculty and students who really try to make it more inclusive community because others won't.
Yeah, and I think it's also important that these, specifically these members that we included, are very understanding of our situation, even if they're not like Latino or they're white. They are very aware of the issue of diversity and how that can make us feel as diverse students, knowing that there's a lack of diversity on campus. And I think it's easier for a lot of members to just kind of brush it off or ignore it and not acknowledge it. And I think it's really helpful with when members do take it into consideration and do think of it on a daily basis in order to try to implement more diverse topics in their class. I think it's very helpful in making us more comfortable on campus. So, yeah.
Okay. So we're not saying that Regis sucks. They're doing it. They're getting there. But this documentary was more of a commentary on what the current state of it is, and hopefully it'll change. See you later.
Bye.
Okay, I'll just say it. Sorry, I see you talk.
Wait, I think I have a bobby.
You have a bobby pin?